You know, we're actually starting to do clinical trials to get to the scientific answer to that question. And the early results from the clinical trials are that it's more physical than psychological.
I would disagree with that.
Because there's so much, your body needs nutrients for certain functions. And the way that you're getting the nutrients in vitamin water is actually very, very efficient. And the clinical trials are showing that it's more efficient than you would in food, and you're actually getting higher levels.
Okay.
And all of that is a good thing. You don't realize it, but whenever you talk to me about the product, you always call yourself a user. And that's a very interesting way to be thinking.
Versus a consumer?
A drinker.
Drinker.
Because, you know, you usually drink something for thirst, but you're using vitamin water for energy.
Okay, well, no, speaking of energy, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about how life has changed a little bit. All of a sudden now, you've got all these zeros after your name. Is it any different? How does it feel getting up? When we come back, more with my exclusive, the first TV interview with Mr. Darius Bikoff, since he sold vitamin water for the tidy sum of $4 billion. We love the big idea success stories. We're taking the victory lap with Darius. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the big idea. Okay, so what $4 billion company did you start today? Think you couldn't ever do something like that? Well, you can. And I'm sitting next to a guy who proves it, just an average guy from Queens who just closed a $4 billion deal with Coca-Cola, Vitaminwater founder and CEO, Darius Bikoff. So, feel any different with all the bucks in the bank? You're obviously a very successful guy already. You're obviously making good money. Now, it's a whole different thing. What does it feel like the next day? Because to a lot of people, it's always, ooh, the money. You close a deal, you wake up the next morning, what does it feel like?
It doesn't feel any different. And I honestly can tell you that I don't think it was ever about the money for me, per se.
I believe you 1,000%. I really do.
I think it was about, you know, making a product that I would be proud to give to the people I love the most in the world, my family, my friends. And the fact that it's resonated with millions of people across the country, that's where the value got built.
But to you, so the thing, and the constant theme on the show again, because obviously we have a lot of very wealthy people on the show, some of them from Bill Gates on down, and they all say it's never about the money. Obviously you keep score, and it's better to have money than not money, but it's about, as you said, this is your masterpiece. And nobody's used those words on the show, but that's what it is. But the money doesn't suck either. I love that. Why did you say
following in your footsteps?
Why did you say before the show? I was very impressed, but you said, "Look, Donny, I really rather not talk about the money or effect." Why is that? Because it's okay. It's a good thing. It's not like you drove in a Rolls Royce or anything. You're a humble guy. But why are you concerned about even talking about it?
Well, I just think that that's kind of undermines what the real story is, and you know, the real story is more about making something that didn't exist before and changing the way people think about what they drink.
Right. There is a new energy of Coke, but what happens now, and this is any situation when an owner-operator sells a company to a big corporation, it's 6 months down the road. I don't want to say the honeymoon's over, but everybody's done hugging and whatnot. Now you're down to business. And you say, you know, I think we need to launch Formula FO622, and it costs this, and some bean counter at Coke says, well, whoa, time out. Because there never used to be time out. It's part of the very success of your... And now I'm talking about something that would be in any case when the entrepreneur sells to the corporation.
You're from Queens. You know what we do to bean counters in Queens.
Yeah, but
we beat them up.
Beat them up, but here's a different story. When it's your show and part of your essence is you say, you know, you can't be afraid, you just go out there and do. Corporations, by their very nature, don't operate. Even the best corporations. They can't. So now there's this kind of culture clash. And once again, this is not Darius and Coke. This is any scenario.
The guys, look, I've met everybody there is in the beverage business.
Okay.
The guys running Coke today are the guys, I want to be on their team. I want to play with those guys. They're the smartest, they're the best, they're the most forward-thinking, and if I'm any judge of character, they have enough sense and enough vision not to mess with what we've done right.
Right. Along those lines, if they were the smartest and the best, this will take me out of ever having Coke business, but I'm just going to ask. The world is clearly not bubbles. Up until you guys, they lagged way behind in the non-carbonated health thing. So is this the old regime then versus the new regime now gets it?
Yeah, the new regime really gets it, and the new regime in large part is responsible for Coke's success internationally. This whole thing, you know, about kind of Coke not doing quite as well as they could have done in the U.S. is a very U.S. phenomenon. And there's a whole host of reasons for it, which I can tell you after spending some time with them and seeing what I saw yesterday in Atlanta. You know, I saw stuff coming out of their lab that is going to be ready to be commercialized in the very near future. And I'm glad that this transaction has already taken place, because if I saw
stuff kicking your butt down
if I saw what I saw and I was still owning the company, I would be worried. I wouldn't want to be competing.
All right, two big takeaways from you, because this show is all about teaching and inspiring. You have to be prepared to do the job nobody wants and understand that job, what that job takes. In your case, a case of Vitaminwater weighs 30 pounds, takes a lot of effort to place it on the truck, take it off the truck, carry it into the store. It's a task no one wants to do, but for your dream, you have to be prepared to roll up your sleeves. So for a lot of years, and I'm best guessing up until even today, you've been loading stuff onto trucks.
36 pounds a case.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very physical business, and you know, I guess at a certain level, you know, like here on the show, it looks glamorous, but at its core, it's a very, very, you know, labor-intensive business, and the guys that need to get more credit for doing a great job and having, you know, helped this brand get it to where it is are the guys who drive the trucks, pull the hand carts, you know, pump the cases, you know, onto the floor, into the truck, off the truck, into the store. It's a tough job.
Other lesson. This is very interesting. Entrepreneurs tend to be too protective of their ideas, afraid to put those ideas out there. To be successful, you have to be willing to talk about your ideas, go out and share those ideas to all the right people. People, by nature, are, I got it, I can't share it. And your attitude is, get out there and start showing it around and learn.
Yeah, I mean, when I speak at colleges, for example, you know, there's always 2 or 3 young guys or girls in the audience who say, you know, I've got this great idea,
I can't tell you about
but
it.
I can't tell you. And I always ask, you know, well, what is it? And when they tell me that they won't tell me because they're afraid to put it out in the world,
can't help you.
I always say, then you're not ready. You're not ready to do something with it. Because the best thing you can do is put it out there, but then use the fact that you put it out there as the motivation you need to get off your can and make it happen. Because being fast and staying in front is the best way to succeed with the idea. But protecting it and taking it to your grave is not going to do you any good.
Right, before we go, Darius, if there's a 30-year-old woman or a 52-year-old guy or a 17-year-old kid watching, say, okay, this guy, 8 years, man, took it from 0 to 4 billion. Tell me, Darius, what, give me some words of wisdom. Give me that inspiration. What do we say to those people?
I think the single most important thing that you can do if you really want to build something is do something that you can be passionate about. Do something that's close to your heart. Do something that's close into your real life. Because in my case, I was my biggest critic. I was my, you know, it had to meet my standards.
Yeah.
If it met my standards, then it was good enough for everybody else. And I think that was a big part of what made this work.
All right, you're going to come back when you become CEO of Coke, right? Darius Bikoff, founder and CEO of Vitaminwater. Just another average guy who just sold his company for $4 billion. Okay, don't go anywhere. We're back on the roadmap in 2 minutes, and we're going to prove to you, no matter how crazy the idea is in this country, it could be a multi-million-dollar business. It's bizarre bucks time. When you see how these two guys have a $10 million business, it will blow you away and inspire you. Don't go anywhere.